Welcome, you have reached Imperial Reviews. In today's recap is Fight Night, the $1 Million Heist, Season 1, Episode 6 recap. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, let's get into it. So this episode was kind of a filler, but definitely pushed the story forward. So at the end of Episode 5, we know that Chicken Man was captured by Missouri Slim that was waiting at the house with Vivian. So this episode starts off with Gordon pretty much getting beat by Missouri Slim and his goon, trying to beat information out of him. He's looking at Vivian pretty much like, Vivian, you gave me up. She pretty much said, what was she supposed to do? She didn't have no choice. So they had a little back and forth. She pretty much told him he was selfish. Pretty much he said, they're going to kill me now. And so pretty much the Slim told his goon to take Chicken Man in the back. Chicken Man seen his exit, pretty much broke away from the goon and punched him in the face. He dropped, kicked him in the balls. He got out the window. So the next part of the episode was pretty much Missouri Slim pretty much basically telling Vivian he's holding her accountable since he can't get Chicken Man. He wants $50,000 from her. Pretty much he wants 10% down. So she like, where I'm gonna get that money from? He's like, well, you better find out. Because basically you my property now. That's how he looked at her. Now, Chicken Man went back to his motel. When he went to his motel, he called his wife. His wife was gone. When he called his wife, the wife pretty much gave the phone to the son. He just had a heart-to-heart with the son, pretty much telling the son he gonna have to be the man in the house, look out for his sisters and the mom and everything like that. Then he got off the phone. And when he got off the phone, we all know that Hudson is suspended, and the white cop that he didn't care for is taking over. So that cop is at the motel where Gordon and his family was, and they're looking for Gordon, and they pretty much grabbed another guy that was the wrong person. And when they grabbed him, Chicken Man was trying to dip off, but when he dipped off, they seen him. The cop, of course, he's gun happy, and he just shot at Chicken Man. Chicken Man began on a run. Now, one thing I made a mistake when I was doing episodes 1 through 5 recap. I kept saying Romel was the person who put Mac on to the heist. It was Emerson. Emerson was the guy. Romel is pretty much Hudson's young person on the force that he was coming up underneath him. So I made an error on that part, in that Emerson was the guy that put Mac onto the heist. So nevertheless, going back to the storyline, it shows, like I said, Missouri Slim told Vivian she needs to come up with $5,000. And from there, it went to Hudson at his house. Of course, he's suspended, down on his luck. He hears something banging at the door. Chicken Man pretty much telling him, like, man, I need you. And he ain't got nowhere to go. So they pretty much start putting everything on the table, everything that Chicken Man didn't tell Hudson before, when he pretty much, Hudson stated, why you didn't tell me this before? And so Chicken Man told him some more details, and he pretty much said it don't really matter or anything. Right now, I got to clear my name. So Hudson pretty much didn't tell him he was now suspended. He didn't tell him that yet. So what he did was telling him, we can finish what we started. We just got to make some rounds. So now they're trying to find out more information. So what they do, they eventually go back to the uncle, Andre's uncle, asking information. Andre pretty much said, "Listen, uh, chicken man, I didn't think you had something to do with that, or whatever. And why would you get caught up in this?" And he's like, "I'm just trying to clear my name." They was like, "Give us some information." And he said, "I'm just give y'all one name and never come back around here again." So he said McKinley Rogers, which is Mac. So they went looking for Mac. They found Mac in a hotel, and he had all this information. Found out that he was in the service, and once he found out he was in the service, they found out he had some kids. He had a kid and he had a girl, or ex-wife rather. And so that Hudson is on his detail detective work. So what they do is they end up going back to the police station, Atlanta Police Department, where Hudson was cleaning out his desk. That's where he seen Romel at. And Romel told him that pretty much they had Frank Moulton in custody. Now, Frank Moulton is being talked to by the cop who, Detective Mason, pretty much, and, Hothead, the one who Hudson punched in the face. So, of course, Frank pretty much blew him off, and he was calm and everything, and Hudson was looking at him through the see-through glass. And so Mason went about his business. So Hudson took his stab at Frank Moulton, pretty much said, you was calm, and Frank pretty much said, I'm used to this. And he was pretty much saying, well, you've been people been after you in New York, the law. He pretty much said, that's not about nothing. I'm a multi-millionaire. So they having some dialogue. So Frank thinking he could get somebody else on the team. And pretty much Hudson was like, no, you on my radar now, and basically I'm after you. And so that was just, a little dialogue on it. Good to see Don Cheadle's character Hudson and Samuel Jackson's character Moulton have that back and forth dialogue. So meanwhile, Chicken Man is in the car waiting for Hudson to get back out. And when he gets back out, there are cops looking at his car. Chicken Man is looking the other way and trying not to be discovered. And Hudson came out just at the nick of time. And when he came out at the nick of time, they was going to he blew them off, pretty much saying that their head boss said they want all hands on deck to chase after Gordon. So after he told them all hands on deck, I had a brain freeze, my bad. All hands on deck. He said okay, and Chicken Man pretty much looked at him like, "Hey man, you was kind of slick with that." And he said, "Yeah, well maybe you rubbing off on me." So you see that rapport that Chicken Man and Hudson is building together. So meanwhile, Frank got out of jail, and his lawyer got him out of jail. They apologized, and Frank pretty much told Lamar, why did y'all use the gunplay that y'all used? And he's like, pretty much I had to, I thought that was an excellent choice. So from there, you had Mac talking to baby Ray, telling him, he got a gift with his art. He need to focus on that. He don't need to get wrapped up in doing these robberies. This is supposed to be a one-time thing or whatever. And so Baby Ray pretty much was asking him, do you trust Emerson? And he was like, yeah. He thinking he could trust him rather. Like, yeah, that's my guy pretty much, but it's not the case. So we haven't seen Emerson up until this point since the beginning. So then it goes to Vivian. She's trying to round up the girls, telling them we could take over the numbers game, P power, and we just gotta show sex appeal. So what happens is all the girls leave, but except Maxine. Maxine was the character that I kept mentioning that lent Chicken Man her car or whatever. So she's got her body together, and Vivian knows she'd be a fan favorite amongst the men. So their goal is to go to the higher ups, where the higher ups reside at or work at, and pretty much get them to start running numbers. When they get there to run numbers, they're showing their sex appeal, and of course the men is looking at them. But what happens is Sully, who was ran into Chicken Man at the night of the fight, and pretty much told him like he hit on the numbers and he looking for his $250, and then Chicken Man pretty much was like, I can't get you right now because we handle on business, but I'm gonna make sure Vivian take care of you. So of course Chicken Man did all that. Now Chicken Man is all in the papers, newspaper, all over the news, saying that he was behind the party and everything like that. So his name, all the cops is looking for him. So Sully start rambling to Vivian about don't play no numbers with them. They don't pay out. They don't pay your money. And so it start being bad for business. So Vivian just paid him here. It was a miscommunication. Here's your 500. And he said, "Oh, you only owe me 250, but you give me 500." And he was happy or whatever. So that took away. They made like 1,200. So that took away their money. And so that was gonna be bad news for Missouri Slim. So Missouri Slim had both girls in front of him, and he was sitting there and telling them, pretty much massage my feet. Frank comes in with Lamar, and he pretty much said, "Listen, I need to talk to you." And he pretty much was telling him, "Well, this is basically Vivian's my property, and you could talk to me in front of her. She's my pet." Now Frank had got a call from back up north, back in New York, or Jersey, from Cadillac. They call him Black, pretty much telling him that the people in the group is pretty much saying they don't like the way he's doing business and talking to people like he's above them. And so he pretty much said he knew who it was, is Missouri Slim. So Missouri Slim was in there with Vivian, and they had back and forth banter, and Missouri Slim was being disrespectful. So you knew at this moment Frank was going to kill him. And so right when Missouri Slim went to reach for his gun, Vivian pulled out her gun. She shot at him, which allowed Frank and them to shoot Slim, Missouri Slim. They shot him, and then Frank and told Vivian and pretty much Lamar, y'all need to basically clean this up or handle it or whatever. He stepped off. So what happens in the episode from there, they had Mac's name, they had the girl, his ex-wife's name. They found out she works at a department store. Hudson went and found her, pretty much posted her, say, "Listen," she said, "I don't want nothing to do with Mac." And she's like, he pretty much told her, if you care for him, you'll reach out to him and tell him to turn himself in. So of course she reaches out to Mac, told Mac, "Listen, the cops came here, they know you involved. Won't you just turn yourself in?" And he was like, "Nah, you know what they do to me?" She pretty much was like, this cop was different. He was from the military as well. He was a veteran as well. Meanwhile, back at the house where the jewels and everything is, they waiting on Emerson call, but it's Willie Black and Baby Ray there. So they both sitting across from each other. And Mac, he's fond of Baby Ray because he thinks he's sharp, but he still need to be molded. So he pretty much Baby Ray hasn't been out of Augusta, Georgia. So he telling you, man, I could use you back up, back in New York. And so he pulled a gun out on Baby Ray and pretty much told Baby Ray, well, where's Mac? And he said, man, I trust him, man. Mac ain't never stirred me wrong. He said he was going to do whatever, and that's what he's going to do. So he pretty much said, basically, like, you still got some learning to do, but I could use you back in New York. And so after that, you finally get the scene where it shows Lack is back in Jersey at the batting range. And you see somebody talking to him, and so you don't get to see who it is at first. And then you find out by Mac is at the batting range taking hits. He started to say he set this up. So what took place is Cadillac, which is Frank Moulton's right-hand man, set the play up for the heist. He spoke to Emerson. They was going to use Chicken Man as the patsy, the fall guy. Meanwhile, Lack would cause division within the firm. The people in the firm would say they need to get Frank Moulton out of here. And after they get him out of here, they'd be looking for Cadillac to take over and be the boss and put things in place, in order. So from here, Emerson was like, well, what about my guys that I picked the heist, and he pretty much, he meaning Cadillac, was like, man, you guys got to go. And you need to get rid of all of them. So he gave him this story that he could have made it to the league, but he ran into some white guys that did some harm to him, and they pretty much damaged his knee, and he lost his opportunity to make it to the big leagues or whatever. So he pretty much said, if I lost my opportunity, they could lose their opportunity. Pretty much you need to take them to Jekyll Island, set them up, and dispose them. And so Emerson was like, well, he said, I understand Willie Mack, forget about him, he could go, but not Mac, that's my guy. He was like, pretty much all of them, because basically he tying up loose ends. But in situations like that, if Lack is pretty much, he'll use him to tie up his loose ends with the guys with the heist, but then Lack could kill him. So it's nobody that know about it. So this is he's better off getting a dodge the heist, get Lack out of there or whatever. But do slick stuff that everybody stabbing each other in the back. So you find out that, so now you're like, oh man, so that was the big reveal of the episode, that Lack is behind the heist and he put it all together, and now he wants the remaining men in the heist to get killed. So it's 3 people left: Baby Ray, Mac, and Willie Black. Now, when Mac finally came back to the house or whatever, and so Hudson and Chicken Man was following him, know where the house is, and was Gary make a run into the house, he stopped because he felt as though that it was too many people outside that could be a casualty. Mac and Willie Black had a back and forth with each other, pretty much saying, where was you at? Willie Black is looking at Mac like, yo, you could have been talking to cops and stuff. Where was you? Call your girl if it's something wrong with your daughter. Call her. And right when he was saying that, a phone call came. That's Emerson telling them, meet me at Jekyll Island. And pretty much Willie Mack was like, all right, well, we out. See, if he'd have ran up if Hudson would have ran in at that moment, it looked like Mac set it up or whatever. But Hudson did tell Chicken Man that he was suspended, so he's not a cop right now. So that's pretty much the episode, with them leaving out, heading to Jekyll Island, and pretty much gonna lose their profits on everything. And you find out that Cadillac is a snake, and he's looking to stab Frank in the back, but he kind of showed his hand. So Frank, you could pretty much see Frank is going to be smarter than that. And you know Frank is going to figure it out that when it all boils down, he going to be like, I knew you're not like your dad. I knew you had some snake in you. I knew what you was doing. I knew you wanted my spot. It's going to be one of them type situations before it's all said and done. Overall, decent episode. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Tune in for next week's recap. Till next time.